Yo, it's your boy Logos, and today I want to react to George Carlin talk about politicians and whether or not you trust them. Me personally, I don't trust politicians because oftentimes they'll tell us something when they need our vote, but then once they're in office, they're more focused on getting reelected and satisfying corporate donors or the military industrial complex. We've seen it over and over and over again. So at this point, even if it's a candidate I support like Tulsi Gabbard, I'm not just gonna fall hook, line, sinker with everything she says. Nor am I just gonna just carry her banner no matter what she does if she ever gets elected to office. She's a politician and she's a human being like everybody else, and they're fallible. Nobody is perfect, but oftentimes we see corporate greed and other type of influence stop, I don't know, these politicians from doing stuff they should have been doing or stuff they said they were gonna do when they were needing our votes. So I'm curious to see if George Carlin had the same perspective on it, and if you think the same as me or differently, let me know in the comments down below and tell me why. It's not about conservative or Democrat. This is just about what's best for our country. And I think recognizing the people that actually care about us and calling out the people that don't, politicians that are corrupt, is a good step to taking our country back. But let's get into this.
Now, there's one thing you might have noticed I don't complain about. Politicians. Everybody complains about politicians. Everybody says they suck. Yeah! Well, where do people think these politicians come from? They don't fall out of the sky. They don't pass through a membrane from another reality. They come from American parents and American families, American homes, American schools, American churches, American businesses, and American universities, and they're elected by American citizens. This is the best we can do, folks. This is what we have to offer. It's what our system produces. Garbage in, garbage out. If you have selfish, ignorant citizens, if you have selfish, ignorant citizens, you're going to get selfish, ignorant leaders. And term limits ain't going to do you any good. You're just going to wind up with a brand new bunch of selfish, ignorant Americans. So maybe it's not the politicians who suck. Maybe something else sucks around here. Like the public. Yeah, the public sucks. There's a nice campaign slogan for somebody. The public sucks. Fuck hope. Fuck hope. Because if it's really just the fault of these politicians, then where are all the other bright people of conscience? Where are all the bright, honest, intelligent Americans ready to step in and save the nation and lead the way? We don't have people like that in this country. Everybody's at the mall, scratching his ass, picking his nose, taking his credit card out of his fanny pack and buying a pair of sneakers with lights in them. So I have solved this little political dilemma for myself in a very simple way. On election day, I stay home. I don't vote. Fuck them. Fuck them. I don't vote. Two reasons I don't vote. First of all, it's meaningless. This country was bought and sold and paid for a long time ago. The shit they shuffle around every 4 years doesn't mean a fucking thing. And secondly, I don't vote because I believe if you vote, you have no right to complain. People like to twist that around, I know. They say, well, if you don't vote, you have no right to complain. But where's the logic in that? If you vote, and you elect dishonest, incompetent people, and they get into office and screw everything up, well, you are responsible for what they have done. You caused the problem. You voted them in. You have no right to complain. I, on the other hand,
I'm not involved.
Who did not vote, who, in fact, did not even leave the house on election day. I'm in no way responsible for what these people have done and have every right to complain as loud as I want about the mess you created that I had nothing to do with. So I know that a little later on this year you're going to have another one of those really swell presidential elections that you like so much. You'll enjoy yourselves. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm sure as soon as the election is over, your country will improve immediately. As for me, I'll be home on that day doing essentially the same thing as you. The only difference is when I get finished masturbating, I'm going to have a little something to show for it, folks. Thank you very much.
What he said is very, very much true. I think if we have this education system where they just pushing out drones over and over and over again, it's hard to have fresh, good talent that cares about, politics. Plus, you have the fact that, maybe I'm just thinking about in the tinfoil hat type of way, but in my opinion, if you could get to these certain high levels of government and have, I don't know, Speaker of the House type power, leader in the Senate, vice president, president, actually, winning and stuff, you have to sell out in some type of way to these people. And by these people, I mean the corrupt, the military industrial complex, corporate greed, etc., etc. Unless you have a full on grassroots campaign, then at that time, maybe you could have a chance of not being that tied to corporate greed and corporate donations. But even still, once you're in office, you could be suckered into all the different offers you get because of the power you do have. You could get led into wars. Maybe you wanted to go to war to begin with because you think this war is best, but then you find out it's not the case. I don't know. Picking a politician, in my opinion, is very tricky because you're trusting in somebody that doesn't know you, and you're just making a value judgment on the stuff they show you at the front. You don't know what people really like on the inside. And if you, I don't know, seen some of the crazy, creepy stuff that came out with Jeffrey Epstein, who knows how many of these politicians are involved in it? They're bought out, and part of the reason why they can get to these levels of power because they're all suckered into the same type of mess. I don't know. I don't have any, I don't know, documents, I don't know, white papers, files, images, nothing like that to show it. But all the crazy stuff we've seen in the past 4 years, plus all the stuff that we heard, or me personally, I've heard about this type of stuff going on from, Alex Jones, such and so forth. And then the stuff coming out about Jeffrey Epstein and different, I don't know, bullshit documentaries they come out that's sort of kind of covering the connections he had. I don't know, that stuff just exposed a lot about our government, but not just the American government, people all around the world, celebrities, governments that's not involved with the US or they involved through allies or enemies. It's just very sick. Who knows how deep that stuff goes? But I hope someday, somehow, we can get out this corruption and get back to being, I don't know, some type of efficient way of governance. Military industrial complex and corporate greed has really screwed us, in my opinion. And I completely agree with George Carlin said this country has been bought and sold for a long time. I agree with that. I can't remember who's the exact president. Maybe John F. Kennedy. I think it might have been John F. Kennedy because they try to say that the reason why he was assassinated because of what he said about the military industrial complex and not wanting to go to war and stuff like that with, I think, the Soviet Union. I could be wrong on that. Let me know in the comments down below. But his speech where he said to warn about that type of stuff, either it was him or FDR or somebody like that. It just tells you what was going on back in the 40s or 60s, depending on the president who said it. It could be it could be Truman. I'm not too sure. It's been a couple years since I heard that quote or listened to that speech. Let me know if I'm wrong, because I'm always happy to learn. But I do agree with George Carlin about that, and I think it takes, I don't know, the average American to be educated, try to let go of our emotions, and try to make wise decisions. I know it seems like a lot to ask, but who else are we going to ask? Who else is going to come in, I don't know, swoop in and save us? Nobody. So we need to try to take action, speak up, and do what we can. And I don't know, not be assholes about it. And by asshole, I mean like, fight people and do destructive stuff that isn't beneficial to anybody. I'm all for putting the fear of God into these politicians when they screw with us, but that doesn't mean I want us to destroy our own communities and homes for it either. That's just me. Let me know what you think in comments down below. It's your boy Logos, and I'll see you next time. Peace.